Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alberta News and Views. All roads lead to Western independence. Question period kicked off today in Parliament, and I'm telling you, it is the same old corrupt, scandalous, liberal government. Mark Carney refused to answer questions, the simplest of questions, just like Justin Trudeau. He says this is a new government. We want one Canadian economy, not 13, and he is going to establish this by having a nation building infrastructure projects or a nation building projects to bring us all together. This is top-down governance. This sounds a lot like a huge step towards communism. Do as I say or you will be punished type economics. Listen to this.
Now, the Prime Minister's claiming that somehow the Liberals have changed. Well, he has a chance to prove it to Canadians. If he's serious, will he tell Canadians that pipelines are part of his values by repealing Bill C-69, the No More Pipelines bill?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Canada's new government is acting immediately to grow this economy. I just made my maiden speech in this House. Canada's new government, Mr. Speaker, is acting immediately to grow this economy. One Canadian economy out of 13, nation-building projects, one project office, working with the provinces to cooperate. We expect the support from the members opposite.
The question was, will you repeal Bill C-69, the No Pipelines bill? And he just sidestepped it as per usual. Continuing on. So this government, Mark Carney's government, set out $486.9 billion in spending for 2025-2026 main estimates. So you know it's going to be even more than that. This is taxpayer dollars. How is he even able to afford this? He said in the past he's going to dip into the retirement fund, which is an investment fund. And for all of you out there that didn't know this, Canada is one of the only countries, if not the only country, that includes retirement as government expenditure. They use your retirement for investments, which is why this Carney government keeps on saying that they are going to invest in Canadians, invest in the private sector to get a return out of it. Listen to him speak right here. Now, you have to keep in mind that Mark Carney comes from a banking background. So the banks use a lingo and a jargon that the regular Canadian or just a regular civilian can't really understand. Okay, they purposely do this to, especially Mark Carney. He does this so he can go back and say, well, I already told you guys this. I told you this yesterday, or I told you this last month at this press conference. He did say it. And he hopes that you don't actually understand what he is talking about. And I'll give you an example right here about what I mean and how greasy he is. Listen to this.
I've spent a long time in the private sector. I know that markets and the private sector is some of the most powerful instruments that we've ever created, and that they can serve many goods and create many solutions. But they also are indifferent to suffering and can be blind to our greatest needs. And I also know from long experience that markets, private sector freezes in a crisis. You see, the difference is that markets don't have values, people do.
Okay, right there. So he says markets don't have value, people do. Now listen to this right here.
And we choose. We choose. Yeah.
So everybody's cheering on that he says people have values. Now, regular people would take that as, I have value, I have a trade, I know stuff. That's not what he's talking about. He's a banker. He says you have value as in you are a taxpayer and you bring in dollars for income. So like last year, the feds pulled in $14,800 per person in the country and spent $20,300 per person. This is what Mark Carney means when he says you have value. Every single taxpayer has a value, has a dollar amount that the government takes into account so they know how much money they can and cannot spend. Canada is an immigration credit card economy. That's what they mean when they say the only reason we've seen growth in Canada in the economy was because of immigration. They bring in all of these people, they get them indebted to the country, and they give them loans because they need to get money moving. And the Canadians that are already here are tapped. We can't afford any more debt. So they bring in more people to throw debt on, which is why they bring in people that are not educated. But we run into problems like this right here. This is from Blacklock's reporter. Allowing 1 million foreign students into the country costs Canadian jobs and wages, Bank of Canada research shows. The latest study confirmed a 2022 Employment Department report that foreign labor had a significant impact in some sectors. They accounted for a larger share of workers in low-skilled occupations, replacing Canadian-born workers. The number was around 10%, and it was students and temporary foreign workers, and they lost them. Those people are still here. They don't even know where they are, but what they are doing is undercutting Canadian-born workers. And we see it in the service industry everywhere we go, and especially the trucking industry as well. Complete chaos. You have to watch what these politicians are saying. Continuing on. I have to show you this because this is how bad media is in Canada. So this article is from May 28th, 2021. Discovery of children's remains at Kamloops Residential School. Stark example of violence inflicted upon Indigenous peoples. This still has not been redacted yet. What they wrote in this article was, quote, "These are real children who are loved and who would have been held by so many, and whose little spirits have been locked into some big dirty secret that we can no longer hide or deny." This is a big lie. This right here. It's disgusting that the article is still up and unredacted. They need to change this. This article was published more than 4 years ago. It's disgusting what this media in Canada is doing to an unsuspecting public. If you didn't know any better, you still believe this big, dirty lie. Continuing on. Hudson's Bay Company, Canada's oldest company, has just been sold to Ruby Liu. And the hilarious part about it is they're celebrating in a completely different language. The irony of this is that Canada is not for sale, but apparently it is. Oh, that's great. They're not even celebrating in English. Segregation and discrimination is alive and well in Canada. Black mandated homeless shelters on the way, City Hall confirms. And on top of the black mandated, there is going to be Indigenous mandated as well. It is unreal that this government, municipalities, cities, all of them, they're all on board for splitting everybody up and putting them in their own little bubbles, while bombarding them with lies. And it is just disgusting, the manipulation and the division and the mind control that is going on in this country. It's really scary. I'm going to keep you updated with as much as I can when I can. All of you out there, like, share, and take care.